guys, so if you're new to my channel, my name's Danielle. Hi, I'm an oversharer. So if you are nosy or just genuinely interested, grab your wine, tea, coffee, bourbon, rum, whatever you prefer, and let's chat. So I originally started this series, if you will, Wine with Me, because of my love for wine, as you can see. And well, to start with, I wanted to share with you which one I'm drinking. This is one of them that my sister and my mom recommended to me, and I'm not crazy about the sangria one, but the other two are pretty good, the coconut and the strawberry. Strawberry, mini review here, actually surprised me. This one I was looking forward to and was not my favorite, so that happens sometimes. Let's put this down for a second. So anyways, yeah, so I had originally started this series as just kind of a chance to vent and stuff while I had, you know, my favorite glass of wine or whatever. And but as it turned out, it became one of my vlogs, if you will. And so that's what I'm doing today. For those of you that may or may not have seen my last video, I basically was talking about how I quit working at UPS. I'd been there for about 6 years, give or take. I'm not sure exactly, but about 6 years. And I was pretty miserable there the entire time. It just wasn't for me. It's not for everybody. Some people are genuinely actually successful there, like my husband, who's been there 20-something years. Doesn't mean he's happy there, but he's been successful enough. And so I thought I was going to have a lot more time to do videos here and focus and concentrate on my channel, and I had every intention of doing so. Obviously that didn't happen. As it turned out, actually, I ended up spending a lot of time on Zoom. And the way that started was I was on a Facebook group about, you know, for old time YouTubers, people that used to YouTube a long time ago, and it was for us to reconnect and stuff with each other. But I ended up not reconnecting with the old people I used to, because over years and over time a lot of us change, sometimes not always for the better. And I actually ended up making new friends and connecting with new people. And these group of ladies, although I'm not on Zoom hardly ever at all, if at all anymore, I still am in contact with them on Facebook. And I keep up with them there. And in case they don't know, they still mean the world to me. I did end up moving on to other things. I'm all about gaming and stuff. I really get into it. I had this thing where I get obsessed with one thing for a while, and it had become my new obsession. So my new obsession let's try that again, was Blessed Unleashed. And I really like games like that. It's like an open world, you know, based on a medieval world with dragons and other sorts, you know, swords and other such things, and being able to be a mage. And, you know, this one I was actually able to play and get pretty far into as a mage on my own until a certain part. And I literally was obsessed with that for a while. And as y'all know, we were also in the middle of COVID at that time. That was part of also why I ended up leaving UPS, but you'll have to watch that other video to get the backstory on that. So I also had some things going on, like, you know, I had my daughter for 6 weeks in the summer. So a year ago with that, we had my daughter visiting us, and then a week of that time, we also not only had her, but my mom and dad had finally came to visit us here in Kentucky. And, well, although COVID was going on, we did get to do some things. We did visit a distillery and things like that, and a little winery. Of course, we did it safely. They were following the guidelines of our state at that time, and we were all, wearing masks. My family, did support that part. And we didn't go out a whole lot because obviously there wasn't a whole lot open and available to do, even safely. But, I did have missed opportunities to vlog and things like that during that time as well. And also later moved on from gaming to binge watching a lot of my favorite TV shows and things like that. So before I knew it, like a whole year had passed. And now I've just had my daughter for another 6 weeks for, visitation and stuff. And we didn't do as much this year just because I had started a new job. And during the time that I had been working this job, again, I was miserable with that job as well. And I don't know how much I should say about that because that one was so new. And a lot, like I said, I'm an overshare. Let's face it, I'm an overshare. So I guess what I can say was I had been looking forward to doing this job because transportation wise it would have been a lot easier if I had gotten the location I wanted. But that didn't work out. I ended up getting a different location. It was still very close to the house. But it ended up contradicting with Jeff's schedule and his need to get sleep, and he was my transportation. That was part of it. He was constantly being inconvenienced because they would change the schedule on the week that we were working. And apparently what I found out, and that was the last straw I think for me, was that they were allowed to change it within 24-hour notice. And although that was something that, maybe happened at UPS, it was not retail. It was different. And they did it so often. Like I said, it was an inconvenience not only to me, but to my transportation as well. So then there was also, while I was at work, I was constantly being asked on a regular basis, can you stay later? Will you stay later? And I'm already there, so it's kind of hard to say no. And I felt guilted and pressured into a lot of times, although that may not have been their intention. That's the way it felt. And I eventually got to the point that I had to say, look, I don't want to be taken advantage of. I've been there, done that, don't want to go through that again. And then it was just the multitasking was so difficult for me. As a cashier, I didn't just cashier. I was expected to do so many totes during the time of my work shift. Then there was a lot of stuff that we were, supposed to be watching these people and trying to keep, shrink down and, trying to do all of this as one person. And the other person would be busy doing their thing somewhere in the back of the store a lot of the times. Or, busy, just in general, busy with their own thing. So I was not always had somebody up front with me or nearby to ask for help. And sometimes when I was made to feel some kind of way if I asked for help, that also happened. It was just too much for me. And for any of you that don't know, like I said, if this is your first time on my channel, and with it being so brand new, that's very likely, I have depression and PTSD, and for whatever reason, it does seem to be an issue a lot at work, to the point that I have breakdowns, which then snowballs because I'm embarrassed about that and start beating myself up about why can't I handle stress like everybody else, because I'm constantly having breakdowns and overthinking things and get too much in my head. And although it's kind of a good thing because I actually care about my job, it also makes it difficult for me to just keep up with the day-to-day grind because I'm getting stressed out, I guess is the gist of it. So I'm really not sure what I'm going to do next as far as working goes. I have some ideas as far as when and all that. I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But in the meantime, I do have some videos planned, and I do intend to at least put up at least 2 videos a week. I will try anyway, depending on how I feel. Because I don't want to make any promises like I did last time, and then, like I said, things happened. I get into other hobbies, and but anyways, let's move on. Some of the ideas that I have, my channel is always kind of been like, between beauty stuff, vlogs, and lifestyle. And lifestyle is basically like just reviewing things that isn't beauty related or anything like that, just random stuff that we find and that we try and stuff like that. I just recently got some teas, so I've got a few more of those that I want to try before I actually do that video, and have some material, something to talk about with that. Yeah, me not have anything to talk about. I mean, the overshare here. So, but I did want to address going forward too. I'm still working on this. Obviously this ties into like the whole work thing and my PTSD that I found out that I have, and depression and stuff, that I do struggle with and still have issues with people that try to dictate to me what I should post and what I shouldn't on my own platforms. And this is my safe place. I will not be dictated to or questioned about, why did I say this? Why did you do that? Please don't do that. Please don't do this. And I get it. There are people who have good intentions and they don't mean harm. At least I would like to think that. But I've had so many people in my life trying to control me, some of them that pretty much darn well could be considered narcissists, and that has led to what I'm dealing with now. And I have struggled a lot with the fact that I had lost myself. On my last channel, you may or may not have, if you've watched my last channel, Danny Phillips 77, you may or may not be able to see it, but I was slowly losing myself. And now I'm struggling to find myself again. And maybe that's apparent in this channel. Trying to get my confidence up again. Trying to, be able to not be so awkward in front of the camera again. And all of that. So if you are new to my channel and you are watching me for the first time, please be patient with me as I get back into the swing of things and all of that. Oh, and I do need to make it known too that one of the things that happened in this past year was I lost my other camera that I was using. Jeff had bought it for me before we went to Japan and everything, and somewhere along the way I lost it. We have yet to be able to find it, and so now I'm using my phone, and because I use so many apps and things on my phone, gaming again, I don't always have a lot of space on my phone, so I'm doing the best I can with that as well. And also my eye look, which you really can't see, I thought you might be able to, but the lighting and everything, what it is actually a look inspired by Bailey Sarian and her most recent video. So I'll post a picture of it as well up here so you can kind of see what I am working with here or tried to do. So so there's that. What else was there? I was thinking about trying to do a kind of like a skit, but I would be horrible at that. And I know I can be all over the place even when I don't, but so after I ended the video, I actually did go through some of my pictures to refresh my memory of some things that I actually did forget to mention. So while my parents were here, like I said, we did go to a few places that we were allowed to go to safely, and one of those places was Jephthah Creed. So I will insert some pictures here of Jephthah Creed. Now, one of the things that they did, and we did it actually twice because we had a friend of ours from California come to visit while my daughter was here. So she got to go twice. Granted, she's underage, so she didn't drink, so no problem there. But I don't want to hear nothing about that. But she also got to go with us again when my mom and my dad came, and we all took some pictures, and they have you wait outside and things like that. So we got something to eat both times, I think, before the adults did the tasting and stuff. So and then there was during all this time that I was also having to go to several doctor's appointments. That was the other thing. And with that, I also found out that I have high blood pressure. So I'm on high blood pressure medicine. And I'm also pre-diabetic. I went again. This is the funny thing. So I had my appointment recently, 6 months later. So that was 6 months ago that I had found out those results, and I had been working my tootie off, my ass off, to because I can hear my husband in my head now, just say what you really mean. So I had been working my ass off and everything, even during the time that I wasn't working, you know, even getting in little mini arguments with hubby because some of the items that I wanted to get were expensive, because although there's low sugar or no sugar type, I don't know, added sugar items, a lot of times they've got sucralose or, you know, erythritol or maltitol or you know, some other sugar substitute that I'm not willing to consume. So the other options do tend to be more expensive. So, I have gone kind of keto, not full keto though, but I do use a lot of keto type recipes because they do help with low carb and no sugar options as far as fixing dinners and things like that. So, I also watch a lot of Bobby Parrish. He has a channel here called FlavCity. So if you're interested, you can get an idea of where I get a lot of my information from. You can watch him if you want to. and just, search for FlavCity, FLAV City, or I'll link it down below if I remember to link some of these things. And so and the reason I wanted to mention that here is because I will be adding some of that as part of the lifestyle stuff of some of the meals that I've been making, the ones that I really like. And that brings me into the other thing. One of the things that we also had going on this past year, we had some family emergency and we had to go to Texas a couple of times. And one of those times we did do a little bit of fun stuff, and I'll share pictures of that as well. We had our daughter with us, so his parents got to spend a little time with her and see my daughter Cheyenne as well. And one of the weeks, I think one of the last weeks that I was there, because I had been so careful with my diet, I wanted to continue to do so. And since, plans had changed for my daughter's spring break, we ended up spending it there. I cooked for everybody, and I enjoyed doing that. I was proud to be able to do that. And when it was all said and done, my father-in-law was really thankful for it as well. So he thanked me for it. He told me, that when we were leaving and everything, that I went well beyond, what was necessary. He himself him being the reason we were there for heart issues and stuff, we'll say that much, was why I did it too, because not only did I need to eat better, but he was having to eat better, and I think it helped him too. So, because my high blood pressure, I'm also watching the salt as well as the sugar. So, and I'd also lost about a good 40 pounds or so. So here comes more recently. I had another appointment I recently went to, but just before we took my daughter back, I got really lazy about, us going to the grocery store and me fixing the meals and, me following my diet as strictly and everything as I had been doing. So consequently, my numbers the results weren't much better. I think they pretty much were the same, if I'm not mistaken. So, I do occasionally have my wine. This one is a sweet wine. All of them up there are, except for one that a friend of mine from California had given me. It's a red wine, dry red wine. So, that's another reason why I feel like I need to be so strict about my diet, so that I can have that luxury every so often. And I usually only have one glass a night or every few days or something like that. Just kind of depends on what I'm in the mood for. So, so there was that, and that affects the channel because that's something I'll be sharing too. Not only reviews of things that we're trying, makeup or whatever occasionally, because I can't afford it right now while I'm not working, but foods that I'm trying and am eating that might help somebody else out if they're not sure, want new ideas themselves if they're in the same situation. And just vlogs like this in general. Also, we go to car shows a lot. My husband's really all about his cars. He recently got his dream car, which is a Trans Am, and it's on YouTube now. Friend of ours, he's started a channel himself, and it's all about cars. So if you're interested in that, I'll post a link to that as well. The channel, you can find it with the video. I'll post a link to the video itself where my husband's car, and then you can go from there. And he's a brand new channel too, but he's got a little bit more subscribers than I do. I'm literally brand new here, so if you just happen to come through to find this, please subscribe, and welcome to my hot mess, my shit show. And join the ride with me. So before we end the video, I want to share these pictures. This is from when we went to Texas, and we also had gone to San Antonio. This is just a couple of the restaurants that were there and things that we saw. This isn't all the pictures. And what you'll see is a little video of a couple of people. You can voluntarily give them some money and they'll play a little song for you.
Dance, dance, wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. And that's for the scribes and the Pharisees. They wouldn't dance, they wouldn't follow me. And that's for the fishermen, James and John. They danced with me, so the dance went on. Dance, dance, wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. Hey!
This here is a picture of one of the places that our friend DJ had introduced us to. It had retro games and a whole room of pinball machines, and I've also including a little clip of my daughter playing one of the pinball machines. She really enjoyed this place too. And this drink here is called Zoinks from Scooby-Doo.
Why am I keep getting this? Why? Thank you.
So we also went to a cat cafe. That's something we like to do, and this is one of my most favorite pictures of my hubby with one. And it was also our birthday. Just before we had to take her back, we usually get to spend our birthday together, me and my daughter. And this year we also got to celebrate it with DJ's brother, who also had it in the same month as we did. And this was my birthday gift from not only my hubby, but a nice surprise from DJ's parents. I really wasn't expecting it, and I loved it. Everybody knows I love my wine. I will say thank you for watching. Thank you for giving me your time. Be true to yourself, and I will see you in the next video.